me see. Yes. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Yeah. So what usually happens is women are usually awarded custody of children simply because it is normal jurisprudence for women who are seen as the non-breadwinners of any family and basically the mother, nurturer, carers of these children usually go with the mother instead. And to some, that they say that's a good thing. They say that mothers are natural child rearers, natural child bearers, and natural child nurturers. And it would be in the best interest of the child for them to go with the lady of a relation, with the woman of the relationship. That is a heterosexual relationship. But here's the thing: there are a lot of problems that come with that. A whole lot of problems that come with that. Now, again, blame can be laid to the gentleman in these parts. Yes, indeed. If they're not a usual part of the lives of these children, then definite blame is apportioned to men, especially those who do run away. However, for those who do stay, for those who are there, let me say this: there is a price to be paid, and ladies usually have to pay it. But instead of dealing with it in a prideful, proud, and noble way, it seems that ladies are checking out, especially a lot of modern women, especially women who are of the Gen Z and millennial zennials of this world. And again, it is a problem that's even becoming more apparent, because what's happening now is a lot of these Gen X, a lot of these millennials and Gen Zs aren't equipped to be mothers. They haven't been trained to be a mother from a mother. They haven't had that family structure of a father in the house to make it so that they can impart proper values to their children. And at the end of the day, it becomes a huge issue when it comes to those children being brought up. Now, again, you'll start seeing like certain trends, like what I would say is a theory, not fact, but it is a theory, that you start seeing a lot more, female traits espoused in these gentlemen. Now I talk about gentlemen. In terms of ladies, that's one thing. But in terms of these gentlemen, there are certain things that happen. One of those things is they take on certain female traits, like their emotional behavior, one. Number two, certain hairstyles that you start seeing these days. That is a product of single mother households, quite simply. When men start putting in extensions into their hair. It's not gentlemen who started that trend, it is ladies. And usually the young boys of these gentlemen start taking on these traits themselves. Look it up. Look at modern society today, and you'll start seeing it everywhere. You start seeing men taking on braids in their hair. That is usually the conduit of being in a single parent household. Instead of drawing the dreads yourself, you'd rather get it woven in, like it happened with your mother. So again, that's just a theory, not a fact. Let me just say that. However, there are certain other negatives that go along with this issue, and we're going to talk about it now on Talk Talk Live. So let me just get on to the split screen. Again, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are on our way there. We're actually making a few intros as of that this weekend. So let's get into the browser. Now, I've already played this video to you at one time. Now, this is a video about fatherless crisis in America. I featured this on another show. And there's a reason why I do this again, because I want to show everyone the statistics, the raison d'etre of a child being a single parent home, especially a single mother home. And we're talking about the fatherless crisis in America, because again, the one thing that men usually bring in any home is structure, is discipline, is more quote unquote family values, and proper grounding for their for their son and also their daughter. So what we're going to do right now, we're just going to play some of these statistics here. We're going to do a rapid retake of this, and I really want to hit this point home because I think a lot of ladies out there, a lot of millennials, a lot of zennials, a lot of women who are child rearing age need to hear this. They need to realize that what they do with their sex lives, what they do in terms of their choices of men to make children with, either consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, it has a toll not only on themselves but on society at large. So let's just play this for you now here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me make sure I have this on. Here we go. 90%. And we're gonna go with it right now on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me.
The U.S. has the highest rate of children living in a single-parent household of any nation in the world. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States.
23% of children come from single-parent homes. Listen to that, and let's continue.
Stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent. For reference, the number stands at 3% in China, 4% in India. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries, by the way. If there is a statistic to not be competing in, this is one of the statistics. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America. Zero bragging right.
Again, now these numbers can be named and changed for different developed countries in the world, but in the developed world, these are quite similar numbers. Let's face facts here. Let's face facts. We are heading towards a family crisis. There's no two ways about it. Where if there aren't, with more and more families growing by the day that are fatherless, there's a problem coming. There's a storm brewing, and you don't want to see it. It's already been seen in the States, and it's traveling to most other countries in the world. And I'll show you how that impacts. But we're going to breeze right through this. Let's go.
This is the stat everybody wants to hide. And this is the stats where the side effects of this, we ain't going to see for 2 decades or 3 decades or longer. Takes a while to see the side effects. Let me continue. Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week with one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy, on average, will spend about 44 hours a week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. In our house.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of the reason why I stuck around to watch my sister's kids in said household. There's a reason for that. It's because, as he has already said, if you're in a single-parent household, usually 80% led by single mothers, especially in the U.S., and that would vary from degree to degree, but it would be pretty much the same in most other countries. The fact of the matter is, 30 minutes with a father a week is no good. It literally is a problem for these children. That's the reason why I stuck around and made sure that that my 2 nephews were raised in a proper way. That having a male family figure in the home, a responsible one, that will be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How many ladies out there can say that? Or are you the latter stat where your father, be he who he may, only spends about 30 minutes a week? I'll leave that to you. Let's continue.
There is no video games throughout the week. It's on the weekends after you read 100.
Let's continue.
And that's what you have to earn. You have to move your body. You have to exercise. There's certain things you need to do to get to that point. That's our household, but the stat tells you 44 hours a week of watching TV, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Let me continue. 90.
Here's the thing about fitness, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies aren't exactly... Ladies, unless they are totally into fitness, don't usually do the fittest of things. Can single mother households be led to the impending obese rates in the United States? I think so. I know in this household, I know with these children, they have a fit background, myself, from which to feed off of. And I know one child, especially one child, that has literally made himself fit through my influence. If they see their fathers or their fatherly figures in the household doing something fit, they'll do it themselves. It's a good example. Let's continue. And it stops with obesity rates. That's a whole other thing. Let's go.
Percent of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Let me read that stat to you one more time. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of all teen suicide, 85% of children and teens with behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So therefore, if you're in a fatherless home, you have more, or you are not near a fatherly figure in your life, you have a greater chance of teen suicide, you have a greater chance of teen pregnancy, and a greater chance of, let's just go back to those stats here. Let's just name them out here. Here we go. Just want to get that. There we go. 90% of all homeless runaway children, 63% of teen suicide, 85% of children, say it again,
63% of all teen suicide, 85% of children and teens with behavioral disorder come from
85% of teens with behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. Again, fathers bring structure, fatherly figures, fathers bring structure, fathers bring values, fathers bring discipline, fathers bring discipline to a family. It's as simple as that. So for you ladies who think that you're the end all and be all and you're single and independent, don't need no man, let those sats sink in. Let them sink in. And realize that in order to have a truly great home, you need a father in it. Now, to those strong women out there who defy the odds, that hey, all the power to you. But listen, the alternatives don't disprove the rule. The outliers don't disprove the rule. And that is, without a father in the home, no structure, no values, problem. Continue.
Fatherless homes. That is a very, very big number. Next, fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. 70% of teenage pregnancies comes from fatherless homes. 70%. That's a big.
Usually ladies who have certain sexual disorders. Usually ladies who involve themselves in the porn industry. Usually ladies who are nymphomaniacs. Usually ladies who have a strange idealization of sex itself come from single mother homes. Again, no father to build that barrier and create that trusting relationship with sex for only them to be involved in a teenage pregnancy. That means you've had a tough time dealing with your sexual worth, your sexual marketplace value. And usually a man, a father, decides that for you. Not a woman, a man. A man. Let's continue.
Big number. And these same women have significantly higher abortion rates than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent households. 20 times more. Okay?
Stop that for a second. I have my own quote on that. 80% of those men in jail come from fatherless homes. 80% of the prison population come from fatherless homes. Why? Because men act out of emotion, and usually it's violent. And those violent means that unfortunately, those men don't see the light of day. If there's no man around to give them structure, to give them values, to give them discipline, to give them focus, it's a trouble. It's cataclysmic, and it'll only get worse as time goes on. Because single-parent homes are on the rise, not on the decline. And as my man said here from Valuetainment, shout out to Valuetainment, like, subscribe. You won't see that lasting effect of single mother households, modern single mother households, until the next 10 to 20 years. When these kids become adults, when these kids become violent adults, and there'll be more violent adults out there these days. Because women act out of what? They act out of emotion. So if a child, especially a male child, acts out of emotion, guess what he does? He can't think logically. Guess where he ends up? Either dead or in jail. Just saying.
20 times more. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. You may already be blown away by the stats before, so maybe come back and let me read this to you and brace for impact if you missed it. Let me read it one more time. Listen. Just stay with me. Don't get distracted. Stay with me. Listen. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their fathers. Husband and wife raise their kid. The chance of this kid going to jail is the same as just the father raising his kids. The problem is the single mother without a father in the picture that can sit there and discipline the kids, give them hope, values, principles, all the other stuff. We play different roles. This is statistic. If somebody's watching and saying, oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers, go get upset at the stats. Not at this is.
You know, you get upset at the family courts. That's who you get upset at. Because hand over fist, they'll hand a child to a female than a male in any sort of breakup. They'll hand it to the women instead of the men. When you see all these stats in front of you, is that the right idea? So I not only blame the mothers here, I blame the court system, in fact. Because they see a man as being the breadwinner, so therefore, it's best to get the money from him, so therefore, there has to be a winner and a loser. So guess who's the winner? The single mother. The only thing is, can she instill the discipline, values, structure, principles necessary for a child to become an adult? And I mean a meaningful adult. That's where the problem lies. But you don't hear feminists calling this out. Nope. Nope. You don't hear modern women calling that out. Nope. No. They think they're doing all right by themselves. All these stats cannot be wrong. They just can't. They just cannot. So, I not only blame single mothers in this instance, not only for the upbringing of these kids, but also the fact that when a child becomes of age, he doesn't hand them over to the father. And not already indoctrinated with bad tidings along the way. Because the kids of yesterday become the adults of today, and guess who they take it out on? They take it out on other adults, especially in such a violent society. Luckily, we don't have guns here, but in the United States, where there are guns available, guess who is collateral damage? Society at large. You got it. Because women want to rule by their emotions and loins, not realizing that their decisions have consequences.
The stats. You can't get upset at 3 times 3 is 9. That's stats. I'm giving you stats that's being given to us by the government because they have access to these stats. This is disturbing. Let me continue. Girls with no fathers have lower self-esteem. We can lower crime, lower mental issues.
Hold on. Girls have lower self-esteem. Do we already have a name for these ladies? Oh, yes. 304s and city girls. Yes. Those bad bees out there who swear that their actions don't have consequences. Who have their whole face, as they say. These are the millennials and zennials of today. Remember now. Remember, zennials are now 18, 19, and up. They are part of the sexual active society we are a part of now. And you wonder why crime is up. You wonder why whole faces are up. Because of low self-esteem and twisted sexual ideals taught by pop culture. It's a bad mix, just saying.
Help the economy, lower suicide rates, and decrease homelessness by bringing back the family nucleus. There are things that my wife can do as a mother that I can't do. There's things she can bring that I can't bring. But there are things I can do that she can't do. So now you may say, well, Pat, I agree. I do agree. We can lower this. But then how come it's not happening? And here's the other question. Who's to blame? Who do we blame with this? Now, you may be listening to this saying, well, it's got to be the husband and wife's fault. It's got to be the man and the woman's fault. Fine. How come it's not the same ratios around the world? Why is U.S. fatherlessness at 23%? Everywhere else is 7% average. So is it really the mom and dad? So how about the mom and dad in India? How about the mom and dad in China? How about the mom and dad in Germany? How about the mom and dad in Brazil? How about the mom and dad in other places? Why are we at 23%? How did this happen? Was it like this before? Is it an evolution? Is it mainstream media? Is it Hollywood? Is it the fact that parents are afraid of parenting because everybody is so much involved? You can't do that to your kid. You can't do this to your kid. You can't discipline your kid like that. Whose fault is it? It's someone's fault. Is it the fact that, hey, we can't really bring church and schools and pray and all this stuff? I don't know. Maybe that's not something you agree with. Maybe it is. Maybe we need those values and principles. But it's somebody's fault in America that this has happened.
And I can tell you what his fault that is. Straight up. I've already said it. The court system. If they start awarding fathers custody of children, you may hell shell these problems. But remember, millennials and zennials were raised already in a system that allowed for single mothers to be the main caregivers of children. So the die has already been cast. So if there's anyone who can be blamed for this, it is government. And it is the court system. Again, you don't see feminists protesting out of a courtroom, especially a family court. Not with the deck stacked in their favor. Hell no. Will you see that? You'll never see it. You'll never see a feminist. You'll never see a women's group. You'll never see a feminist group outside of a family court. Yeah. What's the point? They've won that battle. Why would they need to be there? I'll tell you why it needs to be there. They should be advocating for men to obtain custody of kids, because guess what? This developed world is on a decline. And it's because men have been taken out of the family home. And as you can see, it already happened in the States. The States is a much more violent place. Luckily, we don't have gun laws here, but I would not be surprised that if we did, we'd be going down that same road, that same pattern. Luckily, we've taken the guns out of people's hands here. But in the States, I wouldn't want to live there. Hell no. Hell no. And I'll give you an example of that a bit later.
This is purely a systemic issue that we're having. This cannot be like in no, it's really the community, it's the parents, it's the culture, it's all this other stuff. No, standards are standards. We're sitting there not educating. Oh, it's not a big deal, go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal, go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal, go ahead and do that. No, standards have dropped and the numbers are showing. If we judged a country based on how many kids are being raised by fatherless homes that's producing crimes at the levels that we're getting, sex during teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, incarceration, maybe we ought to look at this. Maybe this is very important. Maybe our educational system sucks. Maybe. Kids spend more time around teachers than they do around their parents. Maybe. Who do we blame? The responsibility has to lie on the nation. Maybe we're either too much involved or we're not selling. Take your time to get married. Take your time before you have sex with someone. Take your time before you get pregnant. Take your time before you have a baby. Protect yourself. Stay home. Do not just go out there and have unprotected sex. Maybe we're not talking about this kind of stuff. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. The stat says we're not selling it in the right way. And we're paying a price for it. If you're in a community that crime is high, hello, you're feeling it. That's the stats. So the next time you see a father that takes their job as...
Again, he's right. He's absolutely right. No doubt about that. Fatherless homes. Let's just go back there, because he highlighted it himself. Let's go back there. Let's go back there. My apologies. Here we are.
During teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, incarceration.
Problems with sex, problem with pregnancy, problems with abortion, problem with suicide, problems with incarceration, problem with with mental issues, psychological issues. If there's no grounding and there's no structure in the home, problems to be had. And they are visited upon the children. Men are needed in the home like we need sunshine and rain. Because the statistics are startling. They are startling. And to those who want to hide their head in the sand, come back to me in the next 10 to 20 years and see how society is run then. It is up to the courts, it is up to government to start legislating gentlemen to be full-time dads, full-time fathers, and if not, take full custody of their children. Because guess what? They have a better start. They have as good a start as they would in a husband and wife home. Why? Because structures, values, discipline, principles, good old family values are nailed home by a father. Ladies do their part as well. But men have always nailed said messages home. There used to be an old saying, wait till your father gets home. Because the father was the disciplinarian. The father was the one who got to the root of the problem and sorted it. A father would use his logic and reasoning to make sure children remain on track and out of trouble. And the clearer you realize this, the better it is for you. And the better it is for your family. The better it is for your life. Just willing to just get this last piece in here because it's true. Let's just put this up one last time.
A father that takes their job as a father seriously, you can actually say, you know how we see somebody in military uniform? Guess what you say? Hey, thank you for your service. What do you mean? Hey, man, stats, 23% fatherlessness. And you're there with your kids. Thank you for your service. Being a father is tough. Good for you guys, husband and wife, trying to make this work. You're just tough. Salute. You make my life better and safer by raising good kids. Salute to you. Maybe we ought to give those awards. Maybe we need to kind of recognize Father of the Year award, a bigger deal. Man, if I ran a state or a country, we would be recognizing certain behavior and turning great fathers and mothers into heroes. Because God knows their job is hard, very hard. Not, making their job harder, not recognizing the guys that are doing a good job, just kind of winging it, just the way we're doing it right now. Stats don't favor us. We got some work to do. This is an area, well, I will very comfortably say America's got a lot of work to do. We've stepped away from values and principles, and we're kind of winging it. Anyways, no one masters parenting, and none of us know if we're going to be great parents or not for about 40 years until our kids are 40 years old. By the time you know you're a great parent, you're probably not alive, because your grandkids will validate that you were a good parent. So you're never going to know whether you were a great parent or not. But I made a video from all the different things I've learned.
Excellent. What he said is correct. Well done to Valuetainment. It's excellent. It really is. Father's Day is seen as a passing phase, just a run-of-the-mill day. When at the end of the day, it's one of the more important days on the calendar. Just as important, if not more important than Mother's Day. You know why? Because fathers get a bad rap. They do. Especially fathers who stick and stay and make their families better. Better than most. Especially in our community. Especially in our community. Where I believe in the United States, 80% of black children are born to single mothers. 80%. We got some growing up to do, people. We got some changes to make. But hey, I'm not done there. Oh, hell no. I'm not done there. I have run across this video proving that point that, millennials and zennials, this next generation is coming up. God help them. Because Gen X, that started the trend. That started the problem. That started the descent. Millennials and zennials, they're going to push that huge boulder down the cliff at a faster rate. Look out for this. I have this here from Meteor's Tutorial Reviews. Subscribe to him. He's doing excellent work in the YouTube space. Again, former friend of the Godfather himself. And he has this example of a lady who's, not exactly happy to be a mom. Now, this is, I'm sure, a millennial mother. And not a very good example to their child. To her child. Because, again, she's acting out of emotion. She doesn't see her job as being one of the biggest there are out there. One of the greatest there are out there. She wants out of it. She wants out of this group. Let's continue with the story.
Because she admits that she hates his father. This is what's messed up in our world. Let's go.
My son is not coming home today. At this point, I don't even know if I want him to ever come home.
I really hate his dad, and it makes it so hard for me to like and care for him the way a mother should. I hate co-parenting with him because he won't let go of the past. We've been broken up for 10 years now, and honestly, being with him is one of my biggest life regrets. But how do you look your own kid in their face, knowing that it's impossible for you to fully love them the way a mother should because you hate their dad? The disagreement was so stupid and simple, but it resulted in my son showing up to school 4 hours late. Usually I would remove him from that situation, but this time instead of taking him away, I'm making him stay.
Day 12 of being a single adult with no children. My son was initially supposed to come home Monday, but as a punishment, I made him stay until Tuesday, and he decided he don't want to come home until Wednesday.
Punishment?
Because his dad is buying him a new video game. My vibrations was very low yesterday, but I'm taking control of my emotions today.
It's like day 3 of my...
What can I say? This does not resemble the mothers of yesteryear. Nope. They're taking their feelings into account. Instead of being a mother, they want to be an individual. They want to be a bit more selfish of their time and of their efforts. Sorry, when you get into parenthood, your kids are your lives now. But again, this generation rules the nation with version, as my friend Musical Youth used to say. A version of parenting that is absolutely deplorable, that has never been seen in our lifetimes, in centuries. We are taking it back to caveman days where kids were left to fend for themselves because women want to be Instagram famous, YouTube famous, TikTok famous. It's freaking ridiculous. I would not breed with any of these ladies if it paid me to do so. If they paid me. These ladies have learned from the worst and have carried on a very, very slack tradition where the me attitude not only goes into their daily lives, but into the care of their children. And it is stunningly bad. I fear for the children that are out there. Luckily, I have 2 nephews of whom I'm taking care of and raising that do not exude these characters that I vet the ladies that they are with, because if any of them had to deal with this lot, they would be dismissed out of hand. Let's continue.
My son being home, and I'm ready for him to leave. Before he came home, I cleaned his room. I made sure it was nice and organized so that when he come home, it could be fresh energy and a reset. Wednesday, he comes home. We go out to eat to Buffalo Wild Wings to celebrate him being on the honor roll. Thursday was my goddaughter's first birthday, so we went to Sea Life, we went out to eat, and then we went to Barnes & Noble, and he got a new book to read. This morning, he wanted Subway for lunch. Like, cool, I want to have Subway for breakfast, so we go to Subway on the way to school. And this shit, I don't mind. This is the shit that I love about motherhood. Like, I want so badly to just be a cool mom and just be able to do fun shit. But I find myself always having to punish my son for being ungrateful and entitled. I don't care.
Let that sink in. If you're with me on Talkdtalklive, on YouTube, if you're hearing that on my Instagram, let that sink in. She does not want to be a mother. She wants to be a cool mom. She wants to be a cool mom, people. That's part of the issue. She's punishing her son for being ungrateful and entitled. Who's the ungrateful and entitled one here? The child or the mother? I'll tell you. I'll give you a clue. It's the older one, who's ungrateful and entitled. Because she wants motherhood on her terms. That doesn't ruin her sexy, that allows her to go on Instagram, that allows her to pose in front of cameras, seek male attention instead of a child's attention. This is who they want. This is who they want. Let's go. Let's go.
And entitled. Don't care who anybody is. If I can't ask you for shit, don't ask me for fucking nothing, bro.
When I take a look out at the generation of young boys that look just like me, and I see a general sense of lost, I see a general sense of not understanding how to conduct oneself. I see energy untamed. I see boyhood mismanaged, and I see young boys that are unable to deal with and conquer their emotions. And you and I both know, as the listener, that one of the most dangerous combinations within a society is men that cannot handle their emotions. And then I look to the mothers, which are the majority of those that are raising these young boys. Men, listen to me. Sex with that.
Stop. I just want to, before he went in there and into his point, there's that statistic. 80% of black children in the United States are raised by single mother homes, and they wonder why our jail population has increased exponentially over the last 20 to 30 years. Because you have emotional mothers raising emotional children, and when they become emotional and they have guns in their hands, what do they do with them? They exude that emotions in a negative way. It is stunning to me how the court system turns a blind eye to this and says, these are the ladies who should be raising children. It amazes me that these ladies are making bad choices in terms of the fathers of their children. Neglecting the friend zone, neglecting men who would be adequate fathers for what feels good in their loins.
Child protection is not more important than the legacy that you leave behind on this planet. And if your legacy is tainted by a savage, dirty, toxic young woman like this one right here, then you're doing more harm to the planet and those around you than what you think. I said it once and I'll say it again. Wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. When we talk about for recreational use, but now she's a mother. She's talking about this young boy as if it's her toxic relationship boyfriend. What do you mean, bro? Don't ask me for nothing. That is your son, ma'am. And it's clear from these little short clips that you don't take motherhood seriously. You are damaging this young boy with your unstable, irrational behavior. And no wonder that the baby father continues to hold a grudge against you because he probably got you accidentally pregnant and is one of the biggest mistakes that he made in his life because now he's stuck with you until that child matures. This is simply abhorrent behavior, as if your son does not have access to TikTok to see exactly how it is that you communicate about him. And your punishment for him is to keep him at his father's. That sounds like exactly what he needs in his life. And in fact, the father should save most of these videos to be able to use them in front of a judge. Let's keep...
He's absolutely right. This is what 80% of the population is made of. Children of women just like her. Just like her. I've been in and around these mothers for years, and guess what? They're an absolute disgrace. The father's got to take their part as well. But these mothers drive the point home. Drive it home so sweetly. Have these kids not liking themselves, having these kids with psychological issues, having these kids have violent tendencies, and when those violent tendencies come to pass, that's not only your ass, that's not only society's ass, that's my ass. And then these ladies throw their hands up saying, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. What? Zero accountability for the child they helped produce. But ladies will always blame fathers, right? They have a problem. With attitudes like these, does your mind change on that issue? On that opinion? It is stunning to me that this lady not only has these attitudes, but she actually put them out on TikTok. For not only the world to see, but her future son to see how much she hates her offspring. Stunning. Stunningly bad. Such a dereliction of duty. Such an unfit mother. This boy needs to be transported to his father. Pronto. But no, it's the man's fault, right? Is this point being driven home? A woman who's there 24/7, who hates her son's guts. Guess where he takes that hate next? When he's bigger and stronger and able to find a weapon.
Keep on watching them.
So I threw his book that I bought him away yesterday, and I threw his Switch away. Because while he was loading the dishwasher, he's just been in the kitchen talking shit the whole time. Like, literally, all he had to do was just load the fucking dishwasher. And I just don't get it. Like, why can I not just be a cool fucking mom, bro? Like, why? Y'all got it. I just want y'all to know y'all got it.
Because you're a terrible
I'm a
person.
Mom. He with his dad. His dad. Y'all said something to his daddy. He is with his daddy. And I'll be going to therapy.
You need to go to jail.
To keep getting disrespected in my own home. All that. If y'all want to normalize having ungrateful, disrespectful kids and getting bullied in y'all home and feeling worthless and unappreciated, that's on y'all. But
shame, insults, guilt,
the need to be right.
right.
Stop that there for a second before we get into that next subject. This gets me so heated. There should be a license to be a mother. There should be. But because society is the way it is, because the court system is the way it is, because government is the way it is, these ladies are allowed to get away with, quite simply, murderous acts of irresponsibility. Murderous. The one thing she's doing right for herself is getting herself some therapy. Thank God. Hopefully she'll get some sense from it. But from everything else, she's a liability to her son. An absolute cancer to her son. And you wonder why 80% of prison populations are made from single mother homes. Let that sink in. 80% of prison populations in the developed world are made of single mother homes. It's not just because the guys have sailed off into the distance. It's not because there aren't any male role models in the house. It's because of ladies like her pushing poison to their sons, making them psychologically disabled, making them prone to violence, making them absolute abjects of the community. And guess where they take that violence out on? It's not on mom. It's on society at large. But hey, not a woman's fault, right? Especially modern women who are selfish in and of itself and now are narcissistic and now are craving adulation and the spotlight. So they're doing this live. Being and playing the ass live for all of us to see. This is disgraceful behavior. You'd think she'd keep this in the dark, for Christ's sake. No, she wants to put it out there in public. Utter nonsense. I'll let it continue.
The psychopathy of the modern woman today is fundamentally flawed. Manipulation and innuendo, and then probably next, false allegations. The psychopathy of the modern woman, again, is fundamentally flawed. You can't tell her anything.
I'll be choosing me, and I'm putting myself first.
She could say no truer words. I'm choosing me, and I'm putting myself first. Does that sound like a mother to you? Seriously. I'm asking you, out there in Talk Live, come comment to me. Does that sound like a mother to you? Does that sound like any mother you have known in your life? They are choosing themselves first. I'm sorry, people. That is the millennial and zennial mindset going forward. They're putting themselves first. They're putting themselves on cameras first. They're showing them... Listen, the world is full of... people who just want to aggrandize themselves and not think of the repercussions of tomorrow. OnlyFans models. You know how many mothers are made of OnlyFans models, people? Instead of getting a legit job, they want their kids to know that they clap their cheeks open for men for profit. Instead of educating themselves, they'd rather lie back and let the world know of their innards. These are the mothers of today. I'm not joking here. Take a look at any Instagram feed. Any OnlyFans feed. Most of them are single mothers. Isn't that wonderful? Do you want the child of a child of yours to see their mother in such interesting parameters? Amber Rose is doing it. Imagine how Amber Rose's child feels right now. She's an OnlyFans mom. I bet Wiz Khalifa is thinking different about who he chose to be a mother of his children. I'm sure this gentleman is thinking different as to who should be a mother to their children. It's disgraceful behavior. It grinds my gears to no end how bad this behavior is. But it's selfish, utter nonsense. The only thing she got right for herself going forward is the fact that she's taking therapy. So hopefully something will be drummed into her head that this behavior cannot be tolerated. Cannot. Yes, Yes, it takes two to tango. Yes, there's a father in this picture that needs to be a part of the result. And you know what? The father needs to take care of the child, take care of this male child from his mother. Don't give custody to her. This is a bad mom, period. Bad. But she's not alone. There are thousands of them out there. Gentlemen, I keep saying this. I have no kids myself. I'm so glad I have kept it wrapped up, or I have kept that D control. Because if I had to let my seed into this woman, the spawn of Satan himself, I would cry every day at home, knowing that I had to share the next 18 years with a woman like this. Back for part 2 of Talk Live on Instagram. We're going to continue here on YouTube. Be back in a bit. Again, Instagram's running this game, and I don't like it, but I have no choice but to deal with it. So we're going to continue with it. Back in a few. Talk soon. Back live on Talk Live on part 2 of our modern single mothers' detriments to their children. We're just looking at this young lady here who being featured on meteoric tutorials and reviews. Like, subscribe, comment to him. He's doing excellent work. He's a big, huge YouTube space, big on a big YouTube channel, and he is highlighting this. Well, not exactly the best example of a mom, but here she is eating her Subway, telling her that she needs to be let go of her duty as a mother because she wants to live life on her own terms. And that's what we get with a lot of these ladies these days. We do. But we won't see the repercussions of those decisions until a few years down the road, which is a shame. Let's continue.
I sent him with his dad. I'm about to get myself a 1-bedroom apartment. And I'm gonna live my fucking life, bro. I see Shorty every other weekend, and we can do some fun ass shit. We can have the most fun in the world. But that's all I got for him is a good time 4 days out of the month. That's all I got for him now. Maybe a couple FaceTimes and phone conversations throughout the week, but that's it. I'm not providing financially. I'm not doing extra except the little fun shit that I want to do when I have him every other weekend.
He had no choice in being created.
None. Nope.
Wow. He had no choice. It was your choice. And now he has to suffer for your choice because you want to be the cool mom. It sounds like you're giving up custody, and I am truly happy for that.
No, it's absolutely.
Children can sense the energy through their parents and how you talk to them, how you look at them, how you hold them. And you hold a grudge because you simply hate his father. But that energy is reflective, and he's receiving that energy, and it is a reflection in his behavior. This starts with you, man. But your inability to take accountability for who you are is disabling not only you, but also that small child. Here's the last thing that
This woman refuses to be an adult. Go figure. It's a woman who refuses to take responsibility for her actions. It's a lady who refuses to be accountable for the choices she's made in life. She'd rather give it up to somebody else so that she can live her best life. Remember, modern women, remember that? Best life? She wants to live her best life by pushing her son out to her father, which is probably the best thing she could do. Because her selfish, negative, terrible attitude would have such awful repercussions on that son. Awful. Terrible. She did two things right. I'll give her that. She's going to therapy, one, and number two, she's giving away that son because Lord knows the damage she's done to him. But this plays out time after time after time in our society. You see it in our malls, you see it in our homes, you see it on the street, and you'll keep seeing us on the street because women want to be as selfish to themselves as possible, instead of living up to their responsibilities for their choices that they made. It's stunning, literally stunning to see a woman profess this utter bile because she wants to be a cool mom. Okay, there's nothing cool about you. Just saying.
I want to say about this because I can really talk-ish all day on this lovely young lady, and this is not her Instagram account. Don't try to find her on the internet. Say nothing to her. God and the judges will hopefully be able to deal with her. To all of the gentlemen out there that were raised by single mothers that hated your father, more than likely she implanted subtleties within your mind to loathe your father and simp for women. Her hate for your father umbrellaed into a hate for men. So subconsciously, these things were taught to you. This is why you're not confident in life. Here's why you're scared to fail. Women are not designed to make boys into men. And if you had a mother like this one right here, you started out life on extreme difficulty settings. Get therapy, get help, and forgive. Because if you have that monkey on your back throughout your life, you'll never let go of the baggage or the weight of the bullshit that she put you through. Last but not least, guys, I have a link down below to the...
I'll just stop it there. Thank you very much, mediocre tutorials and reviews. Yeah, to those gentlemen out there who have had a single mother like this in their lives, get therapy. Seek it out. Go get it. Because not only has she hurt your self-esteem, not only does she create an inferiority complex between you and females, not only has she raised the degree of level of violence within you, she has robbed you of your childhood. She has made you an adult way before your time. And that is another shame. Just because she bothered to make a bad choice in terms of a partner for the progeny. Gentlemen, you have to vet these ladies. I kid you not. Do not go out there all willy-nilly thinking this won't happen to you, because it has. And you know what? It is a living nightmare to men out there. Living nightmare. And I've already read you I've already showed you the statistics of single mother homes and children. But let's move on here. Let's move on. Thank you for the mediocre tutorial reviews. I think. Yes, indeed. We're going to take it from a different perspective right now. There's this one here. Yeah, let's take it from a different perspective right now. We're going to take this from another lady's perspective. Those outside the African diaspora's perspective. And how women have a disdain for motherhood. I have this video by Jedediah Bila Live on the Valuetainment channel. Shout out to her. Shout out to the channel, doing excellent work in the manosphere and in the male empowerment space. And she's talking about, and she's having a discussion with regards to how certain ladies, certain feminists, womanists, and gynocratic advocates have thought about being motherhood. Thought about motherhood. They think it's well, I wouldn't say a reprehensible act. There's something to be looked down upon. Well, it's actually the most important job on the planet. Let's continue.
With kids is a selfless act. You know, some people say, oh, you know, it's selfish to postpone that, and you know, staying home, being a stay-at-home mom is a selfless act. Some people will make that argument. She takes issue with that, and she takes issue with the word selfless. Listen to her description of, she's a mom. She's a mom. Keep that in mind. She has a baby. I don't know. I think she has one, potentially more. Listen to how she talks about motherhood. Let's play it.
Loaded term here, because selfless, that you have no hobby. Like, what do you mean? No self, no hobbies, no interests, no dreams, no hopes. Like, do they expect women to just sort of become vessels for care for their family and nothing else? It's so dark.
Yes, they're building the fantasy that actually women would be happier if they didn't have responsibilities.
Yeah, which, or they didn't have responsibilities that were assigned economic value.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's also
So this is like cringeworthy stuff. Deeply cringeworthy. Did you hear what she said? She's talking about how, like, don't women have dreams and hopes? It never occurs to her that for some women, those dreams and hopes are to have that husband, to get married, to have that child, to have that family, that child is your dream, is your primary dream. That's not to say you can't have an interest on the side of doing this, but that is the crux of what you want your life to be about, because it's that special. She can't grasp that. She cannot fathom it. And the way she speaks about, she says, do they expect women to become vessels of care for their family? Like it's servitude, like it's a dark thing, as opposed to it being a beautiful thing, that a woman would take care of the home, that a woman would want to prioritize raising a child, that a woman would want to, you know, cook a meal that's beautiful for her family. Or why is this bad?
Why indeed is that bad? Why can't women just be mothers and be proud of that fact? Because you have feminists, womanists, modern women, city girls, 304s, looking down on women who take priority of motherhood. Looking down on women being wives. Frowning upon the fact that this is one of the more important jobs mankind has ever created. Let's just call it, we can say womankind too. One of the greater jobs one can have. But no. It seems that modern women see such a job detail as a chore, as a way to get you out of your career, as a way, as an impediment to your career, as an impediment to your marriage. When it's one of the reasons why your marriage is there in the first place. You ever think about that, ladies? You ever think about that, modern woman? Sorry about that. You ever think about that, modern woman? That the reason why you are indeed engaged or married in the first place is because men chose you to be the mother of their children. That they wanted to bestow upon you the great gift of being a mother? Is this such a burden and hindrance on you, ladies? I mean, we could say about that last girl right there. Clearly it was a hindrance to her, so she protested to no end until she was free from the shackles of her son, to the point where she could do what the hell she wants and raise her body count at the same time. But here's the thing. Karma has a way of getting to her because she wanted another man. She thinks she could just take another man and, I'm talking about the other lady. I'm sure a lot of these ladies dream of the same thing. Where she thinks that she could do better in terms of her male choices. And move forward with her life. Without the encumbrances of, womanhood and motherhood. But again, ladies, part of the reason why you're married in the first place is because, well, the main reason, let's say that. The main reason why you are married in the first place is because we want ladies to be wants to be given one of the greatest gifts life has to offer, and that is being a mother. And to those, and listen, 50% of ladies over the age of 30 these days are single and childless. Women would rather be covered by a boss from whom they can easily replace, instead of being an indelible part of a person's life, a mother. Just saying. Let's continue.
Why does it bother you so much, I would ask this modern feminist, that a woman would be really happy prioritizing home and family? Why? Why? Why doesn't it occur to you that that could be her dream and her goal, and that could be something that makes her really happy? And it's also like the glorification. We're going to talk about this in the next clip. There's this glorification of work for women. Like suddenly now, sitting at a desk is the prize for 12 hours. The grind is the prize. We'll get into that in a second, because this is massive, massive manipulation that happens when it comes to women and how they think and how they talk and how they see the world. Let's go.
Just to let you know, guys know again, the mothers, the leaders of modern feminism, the leaders of the modern women's movement were all married. We're all married. They wanted women's equality. Yes, they wanted women to be pushed into the workforce, but not at the expense of being a mother. But now we live in cloud cuckoo land, where a woman's choice of being a mother is being frowned upon. It's being seen as a limit to a woman's capabilities. And being a mother is seen as more of a burden than a blessing. Well, I and most men cannot understand that. Cannot for the life of us understand. We never sign on to anything such a thing. Because again, that's totally a female ideal. And you know what? With that ideal and with that entrenchment in mind, there is a chance that for a lot of females that they will end up alone. And you see a lot of these passport bros flying off to different places because they're trying to find mothers for their offspring. But then again, these guys are seen as pedophiles and predators and for the choices that they've made. Choices that society has made for them. Women have made for them because they are in friend zones that women don't want to take them out of. So when they go somewhere where they are loved and respected, Catch 22, oh, you're a predator now. Instead of bringing upstanding individuals into society, you want men to deal with these toxic feminists, womanist 304s, city girls, take your pick, good time ladies. You want us to bond with them. Sort of like that lady we featured earlier on. Let's bond with those ladies. I have one message for you. The womanists, feminists, City Girl 304s out there. Are you out of your stinking mind? If you really think you want me to breed with those wildebeests, with those womb-filled predator, I'm not even going there. Yeah, I'm going there. Womb-filled terrorists. If you want me to breed with them rather than go somewhere, or let some of these guys go somewhere, because I still have hope for you ladies. Despite that. I have hope for a lot of you ladies. But for you ladies who want us to stay here and breed with such toxic females, you're out of your stinking mind. Let them men go to a place where they're honored, where they're respected, and they are taken out of a friend zone. Instead of being considered predators. It's like, listen, it's like I heard on Fresh and Fit the other day. Man's choices are vilified, yet ladies' choices are celebrated. Even if ladies have made the choice for them. Modern women have chose that, listen, you're not going to be a partner of mine unless you're 6 foot 6 inches or more, six-figure salary, and six-pack abs. Modern women. Hey, what can I say?
Go to 3117, where she talks about the suburbs as being just dreadful. Let's listen.
So isolating. Like, no wonder these women don't want to have children. It's like, because, hey, guess what? Do you want to be isolated, like, away from your friends, like, alone with no one to talk to but a toddler all day while, you know, you're not getting any markers of external respect because we value, you know, corporate success in this country more than XYZ. Like, it's not a good prospect the way they've set up the system.
My daughter has been sick this week. She's got the thing that all the kids have where she's been sick. And it's like there's no leaving the house. There's no like going out visiting people. Like there's no like watching TV really. Like I have to just like hold her all the time until she takes a nap, and then I put her down, and then I wait until she wakes up, and then I make sure she's okay and hold her until she takes another nap. It is exhausting.
Little
Like
snuffles.
Oh,
Do you note any similarities between the lady I showed to earlier and these modern women here? They are disgusted, literally turned off by being mothers. Is this what you want from your potential wives? You want ladies like them? When left in their possession, ladies would frown upon these children as burdens, as hindrances, as people who would take them away from their fun in the city, surrounded by their friends, their lunches, their wine. These are ladies you want. Because again, hey, we went from one extreme to the next. I get it. You had a mother who's not exactly the best of mothers, but there are a lot of to these ones. But they're very similar. They put themselves first. That's the thing. That's the root of all evil with a lot of these modern women. They put themselves first instead of putting duty first. They'd rather put themselves first. Get on camera and tell the world that they believe that their life sucks. That's modern women these days. They crave adulation and achievement. They'd rather be given a corner office than a featured child. They'd rather sacrifice their womb than their career. They'd rather step away from the one thing that defines them as a human being to do something else. Do something that, number one, they take time off from more than men. Number two, take more sick days off more than men. Number three, do not want to do the danger pay. Do not want to do the long hours of a man. But they want to be recognized in the workplace more than the home. Because it's so isolating. It just grates my gears. It just isolates me. I cannot be around my ladies who lunch. I have to hold my child while she's sick. Oh my God. Is there the humanity? A job that any man that would take over from these ladies would resent. Because he's not in his manly role. They'll grow to resent. So who do you expect to do the job? But, we must accept their pain and their suffering as a mother. A person who is covered in perpetuity by not only court system, but also from their husbands. It's all too much for them. All too much. The stress, the strain of being a mother. Oh, I can't get to the next wine rack. Are you serious? Wow.
Okay,
I know.
can we pause this for a second? I have to say, as a mom, I could vomit listening to her. Honestly, as someone who, when my child is sick, there's no other place that I want to be. But I want to be holding him, and I want to make sure he's okay. And I couldn't even fathom the idea of, what's on television? I'm missing a television show. He is my number one. What a bizarre way to look at motherhood. Like that child is somehow in your way.
But that's the way of modern womanhood. You didn't know that? That's the way of modern womanhood, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way of city girl womanhood. That's the way of 304 womanhood. That's the way of feminist womanhood. That's the way of the woman's movement womanhood. They'd rather you be a slave to your job than a slave to your own child. That's why you see 50% of ladies out there over the age of 30 are single and childless. That's why you see stocks in wine and cat and dog food are on the rise over the last 5 to 10 years. That's why you see all these condos being constructed willy-nilly. Because they're preparing for a singles generation. A generation in which 1 out of 3 gentlemen are either virgins or have not had sex in a year. Or B, A generation in which ladies shun motherhood like it's the plague. And would rather be fitting into their size 6 than taking care of a son who's age 6. Let me say that again, because that sounded real good. Actually, it sounded real bad, but it had a rhythmic chime to it. They'd rather be fitting into a size 6 than taking care of a son or daughter age 6. Isn't that great, guys? Now, to those who are indeed unable to have children, I totally understand. I do sympathize with you. But it seems that those who have the opportunity to do so, those who have an opportunity at generational wealth, those who have an opportunity to be on the road to home ownership, no, shun that, bump that. Let's all invest in wine and cat food. Because it troubles my figures so much. That's the way you're going down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
That child is in the way of your day, your TV. She's like, well, my daughter was sick and I can't watch television and I can't go out and all I can do is just hold her. And there's like a disdain. Are you kidding me? Right now? This is how modern women, this is how modern feminists are now talking about being a parent? Cringe. The idea that they think it's so horrifying to be in the suburbs, heaven forbid, with a toddler all day, because as she said, you won't have a marker of external respect. Honey, I don't need a marker of external respect. I don't know why you need that in your day. I can find markers of respect in my own home and my own interactions with my family. I don't need that to come from corporate America. Maybe you do. Speak for yourself. But do you see this game? They are demonizing everything about being a mom, being an old school mom. They can't stomach that woman who's happy to move out into the quiet suburbs. I have to tell you, it sounds beautiful to me. It sounds wonderful. You're out in the suburbs. You see a whole bunch of greenery. You get to take your kid out. You know, you're enjoying your time with your child and your family. You put some music on. You got a meal cooking in the kitchen. You got a lot of family time. You have a lot of peace in your day. You've got a lot of nature in your day. You got a lot of sunshine in your day. Maybe it snows outside. You bundle that little kid up and you go outside and you have some fun. Oh, what a dreadful existence. No, honey, it's better. It's way nicer, right? To be sitting in a cubicle all day long with fluorescent lights, doing the grind, in and out of meetings, trying to figure out how to put money on the table and food on the table. That sounds way more fun. Give me a break. Give
her a break. Give us a break. Give society a break. Give society a break. It's an old Bible saying, if thou wants to be covered, they'll be covered. If a woman wants to be a mother, she will be covered. Never having to go through the travails of being in the workforce, never having to be alone, being in the element in which they are surrounded by family and friends and having generational wealth. Women don't want that anymore. Women want their own little cubicle. They want their own little condo. They want their own little piece of the world with whom they'll leave with nothing. Nothing. Again, As KS, the Godfather, is saying, R.I.P., sir. If ladies, have you ever heard of Kodokoshi? It's a Japanese term. Kodokoshi. It is the modern day woman's end of days, where they're found in most Asian single female homes, left rotting and decaying because no one has come to help because they have no family members. And they die alone. With cats eating at their flesh because they haven't been fed in days. That's Kodokoshi. That's Kodokoshi. That's what is on the menu for a lot of these females coming forward. Because they want to be single, independent, don't need no man. Fine. We'll just have to excavate you from your single household when time comes. Because you have no one there to take care of you. Fine. But don't hate these gentlemen for going far reaches to find a woman who is going to be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. Don't hate them. Don't call them pedophiles. Don't call them predators. Don't call them men who could not compete. Because these are the men who are in your friend zone, right? I speak for them. These are the men who can't have sex, nor are virgins for the last year. These are the guys who are the incels. Because you've made it such a world where it's so intimidating to step to a lady these days. You gotta be ultra confident to be around you. When back in the day, all you needed was a pulse. And even then, you still want to pool your resources to those six-pack, six-figure, 6 feet tall, 6 inches or more gentlemen who have their pick of the litter, who can literally say, I don't need y'all women. Right? But that's modern day motherhood these days. You'd rather have it with a guy who does not need to have kids. And to those who are in the friend zone, to hell with them, right? That's feminism for you.
Give me a break. Stop glorifying the work experience. And I know, listen, I give people credit who do that. I know it's hard. But stop trying to get women to think that somehow they're really missing out when they're not in that office for 12 hours a day doing the grind. And stop getting them to think or to feel like somehow what they're doing at home is less than, or it's not getting them to think hard enough. Ridiculous. This is the demonization of the housewife, of the stay-at-home mom, and they do it all the time. I sense a real distaste from her about motherhood. I cannot fathom a world in which I would speak that way about my sick child. My kid like stumbles and scrapes his knee, and I'm like, I'm mom for the like I'm all kissing the boo-boo. You know, I mean, come on. I cannot. Don't have children if you're gonna look at your child as someone who's in the way of the rest of your life. You're not cut out for it if that's the case. This is disgusting to see. Truly. If you like the short...
Jedediah, let me say this for you. Let me say this. Thank you very much for that, Jedediah, for that. With a lot of other women, they'd rather kiss something else than their children. Then it's too late. Let me say that again. They'd rather kiss something else, thinking that their sexual marketplace value is always going to be on the rise. Until they realize they can't have kids anymore. Then But a lot of women don't realize that. And even through the miracles of modern technology, when 97% of one's eggs are done by the age of 40, taking $10,000 a shot in IVF treatment to be a mom in the first place, when they should have leveraged their sexual marketplace value at its peak to find the man they needed and wanted. But that's when you're trying to find a man in the friend zone. That's when you realize, oh shoot, I could be alone here. But again, I digress. I'm taken away from the actual subject matter, and that is indeed that mothers, when given the opportunity to be in these spaces and to be a mom, guess what they're doing? They'd rather browbeat, shun, have hatred for, and have disdain for the very kids that they have created for the world. Because it takes them away from their wine-drinking friends, because they can't live their best life, because they can't be the cool mom. But at least in certain circumstances, like in this one we just see, at least these women are married. What I feel bad for is the single mother. That's where the rubber hits the real road. The real road. Just saying. To those who put motherhood first, I tip my hat to you. To those who put their allegiances and their pride aside so they can do the best for their kids, because sometimes they can't live in the same home, I tip my hat to you. But for those who denigrate their children for the sake of their own special needs, because these are special needs parents, because the amount of gray matter they choose not to use, I feel sorry for the children. Because not only do you mess them up, you mess society up as well. But then you'll say, it's not my fault. Life was too hard on me. No, it is your fault, because you've made choices that you shouldn't have made. You put D in front of B, your brain. You put that in front of your brain. And life and society is left to pick up the pieces. Ain't that fun? That's why I would do the utmost to make sure that the kids I'm around don't head down that way. If I can't be a father yet, I'll be an uncle to some upstanding citizens. Because I realize how hard fatherhood is, and you ladies take it for granted. Thinking your men are no damn good when you knew they were no damn good, but you chose to be with them anyway because they gave you the feels. Right? Let's continue. Yeah, I'm hitting you hard, ladies, but you have to be. Unfortunately, the government and the court system have awarded you custody of these children. And despite that fact, you harbor hate against not only the fathers, but also the sons and daughters of these children. Because they may or may not look so much like them. But when things go off the rails, that's society's fault, right? Let's continue.
I really don't see a problem with that, by the way. You know,
He's after America.
And that's the thing, like, and we are less submissive in the West. The women, outside of here were raised.
Oh, sorry. Just to let you know that I'm taking on, this video from Just Pearly Things, who is smashing it on the YouTube streets. She is already at about 1.5 million subscribers in only a year. This girl is just knocking it out. But again, she's speaking from a male's point of view, which is, and since the YouTube algorithm is basically dominated by men, she has found her way to the top of the YouTube algorithm. But again, it's not that she doesn't speak sense. Shout out to Just Pearly Things, and we are going to talk about the selfish single mother syndrome. Oh, like we already haven't already. Let's go.
Or to be wives. And like instead of shaming men for like saying what's true, I think we should say, maybe we should try to learn from them. Wife
exactly.
school.
Wife school. Shout out to Pearl's wife school. Okay.
I'm gonna be on it. I need me a husband. I think that is. I was joking. But the thing is I was engaged to get married. But it's like, do I stay in that relationship where he's gonna continuously cheat on me just so that I can be a wife?
You don't get points for almost.
I didn't ask for points.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've been engaged too, but I never got married.
No, but my point is that do I, like, for me to get across that line of, like, yay, I can be married, do I then have to be that submissive that I then put up with being
what sort of guy was he?
But you're not a virgin. You weren't a virgin for him, right?
You had children?
We've got children, yeah.
Were you, No, I'm saying, were you a virgin?
No.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, in a way, we cheat on our husbands by not saving purity for them. And we're going to shame them for cheating? No. I would cheat on us, too.
Stop that right there. That is so true. Just Pearly Things, touche, olay. You know what? That's why ladies don't reveal body counts. That's why they don't reveal body counts. Because if they had to reveal their past, then there wouldn't be a future with certain men. Women have already done their cheating way in their past. From the age of 19, I would say even 16. From the ages of 16 to 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, they did their stuff. They were in the candy store big time. But when a man reaches a level of success where he has to pick up a litter of women, he's considered not the greatest of choices, simply because he wishes to cheat. The one time he has the freedom to choose whoever he wants, when he would like for him to shut that right down. Don't you dare move after that lady, or don't you dare move after 2 or 3 women at a time. Don't you dare. Even though modern women have done it for, I would say, the last 30 years. 30 years. 30, 40 years. Easy. And body counts have only gone up, not down. But when a man gets in a candy store, you're only allowed 1 candy. When women have done their dirt. Literal dirt. But if a man cheats, he's a bad dad, right? Okay.
Would you stay in a marriage if he cheated on you?
You got kids?
No. Yeah,
Hell yeah! If you got kids, you got kids, it's not about you anymore.
But it's also then teaching your son that it's okay to be that way.
Why would your son know about that? Why would he be exposed to that? Yeah.
He's a blueprint, so automatically.
No.
If his dad is constantly cheating, I'm not going to be happy.
But are you going to tell your son that his dad cheated?
No, I haven't told him. But at the same time, I'm not going to be happy.
It just looks like mummy's not happy. It doesn't look like daddy's cheating.
Why should a child see that?
Exactly. Here's the thing that ladies you don't realize is that you choose to exact revenge on your cheating husband by letting your son or daughter know that he's a cheater. as an act of retribution. Because if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have known that. They're absolutely right. They wouldn't have known. But this is a condition of modern motherhood. Wreck a child's psychological condition and relationship with their fathers so that you can get the upper hand. Right? Because remember, modern motherhood is all about not the child, it's all about you. As was shown by the first lady we featured tonight on MTR. Modern motherhood is about exacting revenge where it pleases and suits you. No matter who it hurts, and no matter where the damage lies.
You're in control of your happiness. You don't think it's a choice?
Yeah, my choice is to not stay in that relationship that's going to continuously cheat on me. So I'll be happy. My son has brilliant co-parents.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So like you're putting your happiness over what's best for the kids. And that's like why a lot of times.
And this is where we begin the whole single parent, single mother syndrome. This is where we have problems with sexuality of children, problems with behavioral disorders, problems with homelessness, problems with because these children end up with mothers. Even though there may be fathers in their lives, they end up with mothers. And that child can turn, it's a flip of a coin how a child turns out. But chances are if he's in a violent surrounding, guess what? The kid will be violent. Right? Instead of being in a stable, two-parent household who look out for the children and look for their duty first, a woman would rather look out for herself and say, I need my own happiness. Right? Right, ladies? Come on. Because it's men who don't leave, it's the ladies who do. 80% of divorces are headed up by females. 90% of that 80% are headed up with ladies who have already had college degrees. So it's not really the man who breaks up the home, it's the lady who breaks up the home. The modern woman, the modern mother who breaks up the home. Right? With the repercussions being told on the child himself. Again, we say the statistic, 23% of families are headed up by single mothers. And we've already shown the social ills because of it. Stats don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Stats don't lie. And I've already talked to you about the structural values and all that other stuff, but ladies want their groove back, don't they? Right? They want their groove back. Right, ladies? To hell with the kids. To hell with the family structure. It's about getting your groove back. And exacting your own revenge. And making sure you are fully compensated for a man's quote-unquote misdeeds, even though he's come home to you. Let's continue.
Having a happy,
and that's why a lot of times like men are leaving for the West, because it's like women here like think it's about us when it's not about us. It's about the family first. And I know like and the other thing is 1 out of 3 men are either virgins or haven't had sex in the last year under 30. Like there are men that you could pick that would.
Did I not say that? Men are either 1 out of 3 men have not had sex in a year or are virgins. I wonder whose fault is that? Hey, ladies.
To you, but if you go for a guy that's attractive to he's going to be attractive to other women.
That's what I was
He
going to
might
ask
do
her.
it.
I was going to ask you, was he a top 20% man?
I,
Is he good looking?
we were both in the military. I was like 18 when I met
Yeah, but
him.
is he good looking? Okay, so I'm saying,
I mean,
if you looked at your
objective,
man,
yeah,
you looked at your man, was he the type of man that other women wanted?
of course.
Right, okay, so what happened is, you probably chose a top 20% man because you were attracted to him, right? Who is also attractive
And
to other women.
A caveat: women find 80% of men as unattractive. So
Yeah.
if you found him attractive, he's probably in the top 20% of men.
Right.
No.
So what happens is a top 20% man, he's got 80% of women to choose from, right?
I'm not.
And so I'm saying, and I'm not condoning what he's doing. I'm just saying, if a man is in the top 20% and he's got 80% of women throwing their panties at him, right? At some point in time, he might take that option. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm saying women generally go for men, right, that other women find attractive.
Of course.
Because you don't.
Do you hear that, ladies? Women, all women, only find 20% of men truly attractive. I'm in about 30%. Only 20% of men is truly attractive. The other 80% can kick rocks. That's why sex is consolidated over a small pool of gentlemen that every lady is after and are willing to cheat, lie, and steal for. So when they come up with children for these gentlemen, these are the bad men. Sorry, these are the men that are being the most petitioned. If temptation was coming at you left, right, and center, would you stay faithful? There are no loyal alphas. There are no loyal alphas. And I'll have a show about that on Talk Talk Live. There are no loyal alphas. Not with all that PUSSY thrown at them. Especially if you're a high value man, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 pack, 6 inches or more, who's charismatic and who is funny and who has got his stuff together. They have the choice, they have the pick of the litter. But you want to throw them out, right? Even though even though the temptation is so great that no human can resist. None. And to those who are left out in the cold, those guys, you don't want. You don't want them. Those guys in your friend zone, you don't want. Those are the 80% I'm talking about here. Those are the good dads out there. You don't want them. You want the tingles and the feels. I get it. But, I mean, you'll swear till the cows come home. Oh, I'm looking for a good man. Oh, yeah, the good man's in your friend zone. Just saying.
Don't go for men who, work at Starbucks and they're stacking shelves generally. And you don't go for those men. So what happens is part and parcel of choosing a guy that other women like.
Is it you've got to put up with being cheated?
I'm not saying you got to put up with it. I'm saying it might come with it.
Honestly, me as a parent now, in comparison to me as a parent when because obviously I had a daughter. Me as the mother that my son has now, and my ability to give him the calm from my feminine energy, I wouldn't have been able to do in that relationship. So for me, 100%, my son gets the best of me out of that relationship.
Can I just simply say, for the lady with the son, I don't think you'll have to worry about any influences from outside of your husband or anyone else that your son's going to learn how to cheat. Your son will know how to cheat when he gets older, when women simply offer themselves to him.
Yeah, of course.
So there's no, this is, again, I see that as a cope. It's like...
I think it was more my happiness.
No truer word said than from a gentleman who's part of that 80%. The 80% who that are considered unattractive. He said it himself. If a man is considered attractive, most women will throw their panties at him. What do you expect him to do? Be stoic? What happened when... Here's a flip side. What happened when, before single motherhood happened, ladies were throwing D's all the time? Did they cast them aside and say, no, I cannot have all these ladies? No. Ladies took as many D's as possible until they absolutely became sick of it. They regurgitated D's. Oh, I'm sorry. They hit it until it hurts. Then they realize, oh, okay, I need to have a son, so I need to, calm this stuff down. But that's what the whole phase is. Hitting it until it hurts. And that's what being a modern man that most ladies want, being that top 20% is what most men have to deal with. Those men in those circles have to deal with. They have to deal with women throwing panties at them. Such a wonderful subject. And it's a shame that you ladies can't see that. Instead of getting a man who may not, be all that, but he'll be a good dad. Back for part 3 in a minute here on Talk Talk Live. Stay with me. I'll be back in just a sec. Instagram rules as they are. We'll return in a bit. Hey, we're back. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Fall, winter line out now. Differently Still, the new... Oh, spring, summer. Spring-summer line. New spring-summer line of Differently Still is out now on Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're here talking about... if single mothers are detrimental to kids, going through Just Pearly Things and her comment on the subject, and it's entitled Selfish Single Mother Syndrome. But we're just going to finish this off, and we're going to finish out the topic just a little bit anyways, because that Raptors game is starting to get a little serious. So we're just going to finish this off. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by DUNTALK.com, DUNTALK.com, Duntalk.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's continue.
Rid of him because, yeah, exactly. Again, it comes down to you. So it was actually your personal choice for your well-being, not your sons, not your daughters. It was really your...
I'm sure if you spoke to psychologists...
So do you, I'm just curious, do you think your happiness is more important than the family and your son's happiness?
My ability to feed into my children determines my 100%. If my cup's not full...
There it is! She's finally revealed it. Her needs come first before her family's needs. She said herself. Her values have to be instilled in her child before anybody else's. She said it right there. You want to hear it again? Let's hear it again. Very, very poignant. But the thing is about it is it's the single mother modern woman's playbook. Your values above all else. Your needs above all else. Continue. Let's just hear it again. Amazing.
If my cup's not full, then I'm not able to fill my children's.
And you don't think you control your emotions in any way.
Not back then, no. I was so young. I was in my early 20s.
Which
no.
I understand.
Now,
Maybe it was like, in hindsight, would you say it was a mistake?
Being with him 100%.
No, not being with him, leaving him.
No, not
No,
at all.
you would do the
I would
same
do
thing.
it exactly 100%.
Do you know what's interesting is because like even last week I was talking about I actually watched a TikTok video and I say it was on TikTok, but it was actually a conversation between a man and a woman who had just divorced her husband.
Yeah.
And he was asking her, "Why did you divorce your husband?" And she was saying, "He was too good with money."
What?
And this is what she was saying. She was saying he liked to save, didn't like to spend. You know, he was always talking about, we got to save for a rainy day, blah, 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 right? And she left him because he didn't do the things that made her happy. But what he was actually doing was doing that to secure the family unit,
which I get,
right? And so when a woman says, if I'm not happy, then I'll do X, Y, and Z. Men have to watch. I would say men have to really watch out for women who care about their happiness over the actual family structure, because that means that because you know, as a woman, your happiness fluctuates from week to week, from day to day, from month to month. As a
but
woman,
there's happiness
right?
and there's deep depression. They're two different things.
But what I'm trying to say is
a
a woman is so led by her emotions, right? And a man is more so led by logic. Pragmatic, right? And so when a woman says things like, "Oh, because I wasn't happy, that's why I left," in my head, I don't know about the other men. I'm like, red flag,
there's
alarm bells.
And then there's happiness, and then there's being cheat. Like if you're constant, it's not like I left at the first cheat. Like I didn't just be like, "Yo, bye, peace out, thanks."
Did you not hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Again, if a relationship does not suit them, if a relationship is not does not bring satisfaction to a woman, she'll leave. She'll break up the family structure. She'll deny generational wealth just so that she can be happy. That's modern motherhood. That's modern motherhood. Modern single motherhood. All in of itself. A woman's happiness comes first. And if she isn't happy within a structure that is going to pay out for her in the long run, she will leave. Leaving her fortunes and her child's health in the balance. So that she can be happy. So they'll do that. They'll do that every single day of the week. Ain't that something?
This is fantastic. Not a child. It took a lot for me to get to that point. To what I did not want to be a single parent again.
How did you find out about the cheating?
He had a whole relationship with her. My son was. She phoned him, and I answered, and we were in. And she was
having
crying.
a whole affair.
Yeah, and she was crying down the phone, saying, "Oh, he told me that you two weren't together," and yeah. Anyway, I won't go too deep into it. But
what did he say about it?
He tried to deny it, obviously. But
you took her word over his.
She provided me with enough evidence to prove that her truth to it, and then eventually he was sending flowers.
Did you ask him why he cheated?
He just says every vagina, it's just a different vagina. That was his response.
Do you believe him?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't think it was actually emotional?
No. I did with. He's like so opposite to me. He's like the opposite, and he's so pragmatic, so logical, so like we see the world.
Isn't that what attracted you to him?
No, he's really funny. No, I'm joking. He's really tall as well. No, I'm joking. I was eight.
You're giving it away. It's right. You're giving it away.
No, well, actually, to be fair, no.
What did I say? What did I say? I said most ladies are drawn to men who are 6 foot tall, 6 foot, 6-pack abs, 6 inches or more, and 6-figure salary. Not only was he funny, he was tall. Even though she may be 5 foot nothing herself. Ain't that something? But she chose to give away that, even though she got everything she wanted, she chose to give it away because the man was in demand as she wanted him to be.
I actually, to be fair, when I met him, I was at war in Iraq, and it was fucking 50 degrees. And then I think it was more the fact that we were both in the military, and so when you're both in the military, you have an understanding of being away from, like, there was a lot of things that went into me.
I'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, quite simply, she wanted what she wanted, she got what she wanted, and when she had a man in demand who was, simply put, given all this opportunity to be a man, because he was in demand, because that's what she wanted. She wanted a man in demand. She wanted that top 20%. She gets it, and he punishes him for being who he is, a man. But again, this show's about modern motherhood. And I hope these 4 examples... Do we have a 5th example? Let me see. Well, it's already 10:12. I would go into this one. This is a bit of a convoluted state. Just pro things again. Having a discussion with 3 feminists about single mothers' effects on society. And quite simply, it's like everything we said tonight. So I'm going to leave that one there. That was one in the holster that I had. But it's basically what they were saying is that all these different issues happen with single mother homes, including those with sex, with psychology of these kids, with violence with these kids, with runaways regarding these kids, with violent crimes involving these kids. All these things are laid to bear there in this image, and so let's break it down. Get it back to the camera on myself. Let me see if there's any comments here. Okay, let's break it down to the full cam, and that is this. Thank you for joining me, Talk Live. Here's the thing: it is modern womanhood and motherhood. Modern women and motherhood don't mix. They don't mix. They never have mixed. It takes a special woman who's allowed them to mix, but for the most part, they are. The women who fulfill traditional roles in the family, usually things working out right for them and things paying off for them. Long day. Long day. And to those ladies who choose modern womanhood above their children, beware. Because chances are, not all the time, but those chances are, those children will meet with negative consequences. Because you wanted your truth, your life, your values, your predilections met. You wanted your feels fulfilled. Any sort of motherhood, any motherhood has never been such that it is selfish. Motherhood's never been a selfish outfit, but modern woman is making it so. They frown upon women who have this urge, who have this need. They poo-poo the daily grind of motherhood. They wish for their male children to leave so they can live their best life, who can be on their own, and they don't need to choose child support. All they need to do is to choose themselves, although they are single mothers for life, so I don't know what sort of life they're going to live. They quite simply want things their own way and have their values their own, and they want their values in their own lifestyle, and modern women want things that turn out well for them, but not for anyone else. Modern motherhood is selfish at best. It is selfish. It always has been selfish. And is it detrimental to children? Absolutely. And no man worth his salt is going to be with a woman who chooses themselves first. That's why men are choosing to fly away. That's why men are being more and more discerning of the woman that they choose, because modern womanhood with a feminist slant, with a womanist slant, with a empowerment slant, just basically a selfish slant, have never been good for children. No. And the repercussions of said choices will only come to bear and come to pass within the coming years. I would say within the next 10 to 20 years. Then you'll find it. You'll find it. When neglect and selfishness and basic uncaring natures of women these days will be shown on kids, and that will lead them prone to violence and will lead them to jail or death. And if modern women don't start choosing their mates more carefully, who they sleep with more carefully, and where these ladies don't consider the child first, then the world is in for a shock. And it's going to be a big shock. It's going to be a problem. So I thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Very, very, very hot subject there. Are modern mothers, single modern mothers, detrimental to kids? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And for these ladies, I only pray that they can find someone, a family member, a family figure, or a man themselves who can come in and provide structure, boundaries, goals, discipline, and be the leaders of these families and help make better children going forward. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're live on IG and YouTube. We are out of here. I'll be back tomorrow night with another show. Looking forward to doing that. I'm going to be doing it Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Most of the weeks, yes. And then we're going to see how that goes. I think that is, we'll have a special edition on weekends if necessary. But that's how we're going to do it. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Sponsored by Done Talk, the Differently Still Spring Summer Line. Spring Summer Line. The Spring Summer Line is out now. Differently Still, the new campaign. Can't wait to try more of this stuff on. But thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And if you talk the talk, walk the walk. Good night from Toronto. On IG. And for those on YouTube, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We are back, and we are live again on Tuesdays, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Thank you for joining me, and we'll be back next week. We'll be back on Tuesday, tomorrow night, with some more mirth and merriment, and look forward to that. So we will speak to you then, and thank you very much for joining us.